Tickets to my Edinburgh Fringe show are now on sale. I will be performing at Edinburgh Little Theatre every day from August 5th to August 28th at 1:40 p.m. Come and see my show, 100 songs in an hour. Do you think I can do it? It's quite a lot. Come and see if I can do it. Tickets are available from the Edinburgh Fringe website. Links in the video description below. It appears to be David Hoare.
Hello, it's me, the musical comedian man. Yeah. Hi. I didn't upload the video diary last week, but I did record it. I just didn't have time to edit and upload it. So here's that. It's me, it's musical comedian and Twitch streamer David Hoare, back with another video diary. I also just received the first King Crimson album in the post. It only just arrived. My birthday's in March. My sister ordered it in March. I've only just got it. I have to say my sister's very good at buying me weird things that I like that she has no idea about. She also once got me Princess Mononoke on DVD, even though I'm sure she'd hate it. I'm so happy with this. How are you? Have you had a good week? I've had a really good week. I just need to stop staring at King Crimson. I actually need to do Speed Week because I'm not doing Speed or watching Speed or going on a speed awareness course. I'm just I've got to go to an engagement party, and then tomorrow I'm flying out to a wedding. My friends won't stop getting married. They just won't stop. So let's get to it. I hope you had a good week. If you watched last week's video, you'll see I wanted some accountability for some things. That was bedtime routine, getting out of bed, developing my show, wedding clothes, commission, booking previews, and buying a small tripod. Bedtime routine, much better. Stretch at 11. Peppermint tea. In my bullet journal, I put an actual thing which is like, before you go to bed, I made the actual section that's just bedtime. And then, peppermint tea is part, I have to tick it off. And that makes me sit down and have peppermint tea before I go to bed, and that really calms me the fuck down. Meditate, journal, line up my social media posts for the next day. Oh, love it. Getting out of bed, slightly better. And that comes with going to bed at a reasonable time. And just waking up feeling refreshed. Oh. Developing my show. I did my show in Brighton. I will get onto that, but that has gone alright. Wedding clothes. I think I've got all the things I need for this first wedding. And we'll just do the other weddings as they come and go. So many weddings.
So many weddings. People love each other so much that I have to put clothes on.
Commissions. I did my friend's music for one of my friend's shows. So I've done some of my commissions. And that's because of this. Because I've been talking to you and feeling like a dingus if I don't do the things I'm supposed to do. Booking previews, I have booked some, but I need to book more, and I still need to buy a small tripod. It's almost like I also left my bigger tripod, at the gig I did last night, and therefore you're currently placed on a row of books. Hooray! Hooray! Which means I think you're slightly slanted, but that's fine. I reckon I could buy a small tripod in the airport. That sounds like the sort of thing they'd sell. Or I could just order it offline. That's fine. Anyway, since I last spoke to you on Wednesday, I did a gig at the White Bear in Bristol. You're pooing in the dark. Thank you. My girlfriend would not appreciate your enthusiasm for that. It was really, really useful new material show where I started out this thing that had kind of started on my Twitch channel that morning about affirmations, and it needs work, but it's definitely a thing. Jesus Christ. Is that just some air escaping that's meant a door, or ghosts? Holy shit. Oh. I went to the White Bear. I tried this thing out about affirmations. There's some legs to it, I need to work on it, but it's definitely like a whole extra bit. And it turns out that affirmations are like really, I just thought they were something a bit silly. Turns out they're like really in the public consciousness at the moment, so whenever I talk about them, people are like, oh, so that's fun. And then just on the way home, it took me like half an hour to find a fucking parking space. And I'm starting to really see the pros and cons of driving. Where like initially when I started driving, I was just like, you could just get to places more directly. And now I'm like, ugh, you've got to be alert all the time, and you've got to find parking spaces, and you can't just like get up and go to the loo in the car like you can on the train. Although I guess you could, but it's not advised. Anyway, there are pros and cons to everything, and it's about finding those things in life that have better pros than cons. Shit advice with David Hoare. Anyway, Wednesday was a pretty good day. Quite happy with it. Thursday, woke up, played golf, PGA 2K21, the online video game, golf game with Sir Lamelot, who always plays golf with me, but with Let's Brock as well. And that was fucking brilliant.
I've only recently started going through car washes, so I reckon I've only been through about 3 car washes in my life.
In a car, I presume, not just like standing there.
Oh.
You just pull up and you're like, you just pay at the petrol station and you just wander in.
This is where I'm going wrong.
Just standing.
How long does it need to be? Skin. They're made of skin. Okay. Poor skin.
What a great pairing to have playing golf. Had loads of fun. Let's Brock was worse at the game, but on a harder difficulty. And wouldn't stop complaining about it. And it was wonderful. And but yeah, just had such a good time. And hadn't done any kind of collaboration with Let's Brock before, and it worked out really well. And I messaged Salam a lot afterwards to be like, hey man, how did you feel? And he was like, that was a great choice. And it just really made me happy, so we'll definitely be doing some more collaborations with Let's Brock. What a great guy. I want to play Rocket League with him. Let's Brocket League. And then after doing some video editing and such, I went to Toaster. It's spelt like this, editing for David, but it's pronounced Toaster. And I did a gig with Paul McCaffrey and Lloyd Griffith, and it went pretty good.
This is the point where I lose all the audience, where they're like, what the fuck? I did this in Truro as a couple who've been married for 25 years who suddenly found out something new about each other. Just sat next to each other going, what is wrong with you?
And that was fun, and then I came back and hung out with my friend and comedian, Charlie George, who is absolutely one of my favourite comedians. What a wonderful human being. I found her like this at 11:45, having driven back from Toaster, and we hung out. I just think Charlie's wonderful. We met at a few like comedy competitions, which you kind of do on the way to like becoming like a working comedian. And then she kind of won some stuff and did very well, and then got signed to a really good agent, and just keeps on doing better and better and stuff, and it's just wonderful. It's just really nice to see someone who works hard and deserves what they're getting get really nice things. Yeah. And then in Friday morning I hung out with Charlie as well. She's like, I want a bougie coffee, and we went to sit in a place in Bristol where we're like, let's pretend it's Paris. And we talked about Paris syndrome. Are you guys aware of Paris syndrome? People who've made Paris so perfect in their head that when they actually get to Paris and they find it very disappointing because it's not just like a perfect mythical world, it's still an operational city where people work and live and stuff. If you look up Paris syndrome on Wikipedia, it's like people suffer from like headaches and dizziness and all sorts of things because of Paris syndrome. So we pretended we were in Paris but without Paris syndrome, but we talked about Paris syndrome a lot. And then I drove Charlie to the station. Charlie's like the only metalhead comedian I know. Whenever we hang out, we listen to metal, so we listen to Rammstein all the way to the station, which was great. And then I edited this video and uploaded it, and then I watched Twin Peaks in the bath.
Watching Twin Peaks in the bath.
Of course I did. Saturday, woke up and went to Brighton on the train. Met up with my friend and fellow streamer Argue Barmies, who this week has just hit partner on Twitch. And let me tell you, if you don't know about Twitch, hitting partner is good, very good. It means a lot of pluses for him. And I've sent him lots of abusive text messages because that's how we talk to each other. But I'd just like to publicly say that I'm overwhelmingly proud of him, and he definitely deserves to have succeeded in that way. And I'm so happy for him. So well done him. I met his pet seagull. Legitimate Frank, legitimate Frank, legitimate Frank, legitimate Frank. Oh, he doesn't care about me. Who is a hateful bastard. And then I went and did my show, 100 Songs in an Hour, as a preview in a tiny little room right next door to everybody watching the Champions League final. Now, I still had a good show. It was really useful and a lot of fun, and the people there watching enjoyed it. But I need to, and if you can help with this, with comments or just alerting me with messages, if there's like an important sports event coming up, I need to know so that I don't book, especially if I'm booking the thing, but if let's just not doing gigs that go up against like important sporting events like the Champions League final when an English team is in it, because everybody was watching it. So it was hard to get people into the room, and there was literally people next door to the room watching loudly. I need to be wary of sport events, but still had a wonderful time. My friend Johnny came. I've known him since I was 2. He's one of my like oldest friends. He's 104. Jokes. It's so great. Me and Johnny went to primary school together. We hung out a lot as teenagers, and we were in a band together called the Pirate Captains and dressed up as pirates. He's now a physicist, and I love him dearly. Sunday, me and Barmies hung out hungover. We watched Roland Garros and just yelled at the telly, and that was great. And then I got the train home and ran into comedian Eric Rushton. A lot of running into people this week. I'd never met Eric Rushton in person, but I'd done a Zoom gig with him very recently. It's like the last Zoom gig I did. So we just did the usual sort of awkward comedians who've just met each other chat, who are kind of aware of each other. Yeah, Eric's great. He won Best Newcomer at Leicester Comedy Festival 2020, I believe. And he does wonderful, wonderful comedy. So yeah, and then I did a gig in Bath on the way home. The train coming back through Bath on the way to Bristol, so I managed to just stop off on the way. I headlined Bath Revolutions. Which was great. With Drew Taylor that was there, Sam Michael was there, and I met Natalie Prescott, who was really, really fun. It was really, really fun to headline a gig. I did a bunch of my newer stuff whilst I was there, and it's really starting to work, which is really good. And then traveled back, and then Monday I did Monday morning motivation stream, but then I just chilled out. I had a bit of a day off, and that's been really useful. I've been in my bullet journal kind of cordoning off time to have actual rest, and it makes me feel so much better. It made me feel better at the time because I was resting, but the next day I woke up so refreshed. It was great. I watched Twin Peaks in the bath on Monday. It's so relaxing. Yeah! Oh, it's so good. I really love Twin Peaks. I recommend if you like interesting and intriguing mysteries. It's kind of a little bit crimey, although I'm not really into crime stuff. And then there's like supernatural elements. It's really fun. I recommend it if you like a bit weird, but not too like wacky, but it's a bit strange. And then yesterday I woke up, I did an FTL stream. My ship was called the USS the USS Edgelord, and I named all my ship after my Twitch viewers, and that was really, really fun. And then I did admin all day, and then went and did Chops Comedy, the show I run. with Stu Goldsmith, who wasn't there, but it's the last one we're doing before our break for June, which was initially just for the summer break, but it's essentially now a break so that David can go to lots of weddings before we start doing Edinburgh previews in July.
So many weddings.
But oh my god, it was so good. Julia Stenton, Greg Winfield, Eva Binderman, Danny Clyde, who travelled all the way down to Birmingham just to do it, and he'd messaged me being like, "Can I come to your show?" And I'm like, "Of course you can, Daddy, I fucking love you." Maz Wallace, and then the Death Hilarious did it, and honestly, I've seen them a bunch and gigged with them a bunch. They smashed the gig so hard that you could visibly see it had changed people in the audience. And so usually when I come back on stage after a headline has been on when I'm emceeing, I kind of just ride that sort of like, "Whoa, it's amazing! Whoa, make sure you go to the bar afterwards! Oh, we've got a show next week! We'll see you next week, goodbye!" And I kind of let the kind of applause die down. I was just like, "Everyone alright?" Because I'm just pointing out people, like, during the show you could just see people go from laughter to like, because the Death Hilarious are like a sketch group that are dark and twisted. They're like the closest thing you'll probably get to like a League of Gentlemen kind of thing. And it's just amazing. And they said it was like one of the best gigs they'd done. It was just like such a pleasure to have them on. Yeah, we came back on, there was this guy just sat there still like this. And to celebrate at the end of the gig, I hung out with them a little bit and I had a third beer. Never have a third beer. 2 beers is all you need on a work night, you know? Never have a third beer. I ended up getting a kebab. And I went to a particular kebab place and the kebab chili sauce was way too spicy. It had half this kebab and I just sat there being like, ugh. So, yeah, weird. Anyway, and then this morning I woke up and I completed the FTL mission on my stream, and it was with teleporters, and I've never completed FTL with teleporters before, even though Steam says I've got 121 hours clocked in this game, and that's just on my computer, because I've also got that game on my tablet. It's the first time I'd ever completed it with teleporters, and this is going to sound really weird, maybe a bit sycophantic, but I feel like I burst through like a mental barrier. I'm like, oh, I can do teleporters now. I was watching, a clip came up the other day on like Reels or Instagram or something, of like somebody talking about they were hanging out with David Goggins, the dude who writes motivational stuff but also went through some things, and they were saying that he did exercise with him. And he was like, "We're gonna do pull-ups, how many pull-ups can you do?" And the guy tried, and he did like 4 pull-ups. And then he was like, again, and he was like, he did 3 pull-ups. And then after a few attempts, he got down to like 1. And he's like, "Okay, can we stop now?" And David Goggins was like, "No, we're gonna get you to the point where you can do 100 pull-ups. I need you to do 100 pull-ups for me." And he's like, "When?" He's like, "Now." He's like, "This is a mental barrier you've imposed on yourself," and the guy had to like break through it. And that probably sounds a bit wanky and stuff, but it's like, there is definitely something to that, where like you place barriers on yourself that you just don't think that you're capable of things, and you burst through it. And I definitely felt that with my comedy, and I was just weirdly reminded of it with beating a video game. Which is lovely, but I implore you, like, think outside of your box. I mean, I like to be a minimalist and a realist, but it's like, sometimes you just need to like know that you're capable of more. Because you are capable of a lot of things. It's just really nice to know that. So yeah, I did that, and then I went to the shops and bought wedding clothes. And I'm about to go to an engagement party. So yeah. I've done really good at resting and nighttime routine this week, although I still think I'm doing too much and planning too much, because there's a bunch of things I planned to do that I didn't do, and some of it has turned out not to be necessary anyway. But I feel like I've not fulfilled something, even though I've still just done the same amount as if I hadn't planned that. So I hope that makes sense. I'm just sort of waffling at this stage of my life. Yeah, and the things I'd like accountability for this week, and this might sound crazy to some of you, is resting and enjoying being away. as a freelance person, it's hard to get your brain into a mode where you're basically go, go, go all the time. And then when you go away, sometimes it's hard to really like stop and just enjoy yourself. So I want to come back to you this time next week and be like, hey, I really enjoyed myself whilst I was away, and I was able to just take a step away and not worry myself. So I'm going to make sure that I meditate and I just take it easy. I'm going to take some peppermint tea with me to the wedding. The good news is I really enjoyed the wedding, and I'm also stayed completely sober. Yeah, I had a really wonderful time whilst I was on holiday. I enjoyed myself, I relaxed, I had lots of bread, #enjoybread, and enjoyed myself, had some French wine. It was really good. The one thing to note from it, from perspective of what I do, is that the day before the wedding at like 8:30 in the evening, the best man messaged me and was like, hey David, I don't have any embarrassing stories about the groom, but you probably do, because you went to uni with him and you do stand-up comedy. Do you want to do like a quick little speech with some embarrassing stories, because otherwise I feel like he's getting off lightly? And I was like, alright, I can probably do that. And then I wrote a little thing that was basically just a series of jokes about the dude, and it went quite well. And I suddenly was like, if I know about the subject, it's a bit easier for me to like write jokes about it. And I'm probably being a little bit too precious about writing about new things and you know, trying to look for things I haven't already done. I should probably just keep on trying to find subjects that I know loads about and writing about them. And so when I came back before I did my show I did on Tuesday, I just wrote like a bunch of jokes and songs about being a heavy metal fan, and it went really well. Speaking of which, I did Jolly Rogers on Tuesday.
You are fucking wonderful and very patient. You're going to need to be, because this section is called Bullshit I Wrote Today.
That was the day after I got back from France, where we spent 11.5 hours travelling, because whilst France is close to where I am, the convoluted travelling nature of getting to the weird part of France meant that we went a long way. But I thought that gig was really, really good fun. I headlined it and I got to do a bunch of new and kind of test out my newer stuff, which is good fun. But yeah, it's basically meant that I've made a new poster, I don't know if you can see it up there, that just says, "Don't be precious," written in my worst handwriting. So yeah. At the time of recording this, I've got to go to another wedding this Saturday. I leave tomorrow, and then we get back on Sunday, and then we leave on the following Thursday to go to another wedding. So I'm sleepy, hence the blankets. This week, between Wednesday and Wednesday, most of what I've done has either been being in France, being at a wedding, or being in the bath watching Twin Peaks. I love Twin Peaks. I do think I need a new show. Can you recommend me any shows that are like weird and interesting? If you're a fan of Twin Peaks, can you recommend me shows in particular? But yeah, so my aim this week is to enjoy another wedding, but to stay healthier. Because right now, I'm a bit knackered. I'm gonna do some sleeping. I will see you soon.
Please like, comment and subscribe so I can tell my mum that I'm not a failure. Please like, comment and subscribe and share it.